Okay, we'll start today's class. So, am I audible? ಕೇಳಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಾ voice?
Sir,
Okay. So, in the previous class, we discussed about neo-classical approaches. Okay, so that is also a classical approach. In neoclassical approaches, we discussed about human relations movement. That means here more concentration will be on understanding people working in an organization. Okay, so the main aim or main observation made in human relations approach was people must understand other people. Okay, so then only so they are able to manage others. Okay, so that we discussed in the previous class. Okay, there is another approach in the similar way. Here also there will be focus on understanding people. Okay, understanding the human behavior so that we can manage people effectively. Okay, so that is the behavioral approach. This approach is an improved and a more mature version of the human relations approach to management. Behavioral scientists are highly critical of the classical organization structures, that is scientific management theory and administrative management theory. Okay, so behavioral scientists are highly critical about those theories, that is classical approaches, classical organization structures, which are built around the traditional concepts of hierarchical authority, unity of command, line and staff relationships, and narrow spans of control. Okay, we discussed about 14 principles. Okay, Henry Fayol's 14 principle. These are some of the principles proposed by Henry Fayol. Okay, so that means he proposed a standard procedure to manage people. But what behavioral scientists observed was people are not like machines. Okay, if you give input, you can get desired outputs. That can happen only in case of machines, whereas human beings are not machines. Okay, so every individual is different from one another. That's why it is difficult to manage people, and you cannot manage people like managing machines. Okay, so that was the major observation done by behavioral scientists. Okay, so you may have a standard operating procedure, but it is difficult to treat people as machines. Okay, or in your family, if your father or if your mother is very strict. Okay, so what do you call? So in our family we have military system. So that means you don't like too much discipline in any organization. Even family is a organization. In family also, people are managing others. So your parents are managing you. Okay. So similarly, what behavior scientists observed was a company cannot be managed like a military system where you will give commands and people have to follow your commands. Okay, so that might not happen. That may result in demotivating subordinates. So that was the observation made by behavioral scientists. They argue that in these organizations, there is lot of domination of the workplace by managers, which causes subordinates to become passive and dependent on them. Okay, so you don't. Most of the students they don't like to sit in the classes. The reason is again because of one-way communication. Okay, you don't like to be commanded by others. You will be happy if you find an environment where okay, so there is more flexibility and there is more freedom. That is the human nature. Even behavioral scientists also observe that in a company also there must be flexibility and there must be freedom for people working at lower level also. They must also expect some freedom for giving suggestions like that. Okay. That's if you follow these Henry Fayol's principles, then that may result in having a system where there will be communication by from top to bottom. Okay, top management to subordinates. There might be only one-way communication. Okay, then what workers will do? They will simply go on following the instructions given by the top level management or managers. Okay, and they will become rigid and their work will become fatigue. They may get bored. They may lose interest also because of the routine work and because of the absence of flexibility in the management structure. Behaviorists prefer more flexible organization structures and jobs built around the capabilities and aptitudes of average employees. Okay, even people may be working at low level, that is, they may be working as machine operators. Okay, but they also have capabilities. They also want to move to the higher positions in an organization. Okay, and every individual employee will be having his own okay, so his own uh, aims or his own intentions. Okay, so after 5 years I have to get this much salary, or I have to get a promotion. Okay, like that, and they have their own intentions. Okay, behavioral scientists attach great weightage to participative and group decision making because it is felt that business problems are so complex that it is neither fair not feasible to make individuals responsible for solving them. So that means nowadays most of the decisions will be taken. Okay, so after discussing with all stakeholders. Okay, so every management will conduct a meeting of board of directors, then they will discuss, and okay, so they come to a conclusion. So individuals don't take decision when they are managing a large organization. Individuals, they don't take decision. Then if decision making is left to an individual, that may result in a lot of consequences. Every individual will be having some limitations. Okay, so you cannot say one individual is having knowledge in every field. Okay, so he is a master. So that doesn't happen. Every individual is having a lot of limitations. That's why in nowadays, so decisions are not in organizations, decisions are not taken by individuals. Instead, decisions will be taken by discussing with all stakeholders. Okay, that is directors and managers, investors. Okay, even at times consumers feedback also will be considered. Okay, if you consider nation. Okay, so even managing a entire nation is a very difficult task. Okay, so for that we have a standard operating procedure that is defined by our constitution. Okay, and even people who write constitution. Okay, so they also considered this constraint. Okay, so this is one of the statement by Ambedkar. Okay, so I think most of you are able to read Kannada. Okay, you can read this statement and you can understand. Okay, it is also based on the behavioral approach of management. Okay, you can read, so then you can interpret this statement. So this is the statement by Ambedkar. So while discussing about the constitution. Okay, so you must remember this statement. Okay, so in politics, there must not be leader worshipping or hero worshipping. That should not be there in politics. Okay, and that will result in failure of democracy. In democracy, we should not worship any individual. Any individual leader should not be worshipped. If we do that, that may result in a lot of consequences. Okay, this was said by Ambedkar, and we noticed in past and in present also. We noticed whenever we worship a autocratic leader. Okay, so would take decisions on his own. The entire nation was and is in trouble. Okay. Okay, what you can understand by this statement? Hmm? Why you cannot worship an individual in a democracy? Hmm? Okay, if you start worshipping a leader in a democracy, so that will result in dictatorship. Okay, so dictatorship is not good for democracy. Okay, so democracy may have a lot of limitations, but that we should not worship any leader. Okay, every leader will be having its own limitations, and again, decision making should be based on teamwork. That means if anyone, if prime minister is taking decision, he has to consult his cabinet members. He has to put that decision for discussion in parliament. Okay, after discussion, then only it should be considered for implementation. Okay, that's how democracy was designed. Okay, if that is not followed, then there will be consequences. Okay, to behavioral scientists, the realistic model of human motivation is complex man. Okay, so this is the name of the model suggested by a behavioral scientist. So as the name itself indicates, complex man. Why human being is complex compared to machine? So behavioral scientists are saying that machines are less complicated compared to human beings. What is the reason? Sanjay.
Sir, there are many factors, sir.
Which are those?
One is greed towards money, and he will be sometimes very selfish towards his own family and towards about himself, sir. He won't think about society only.
Then why man is complex compared to machine? Pallavi?
Yes, sir.
Why man is complex compared to machine?
We can handle machines so easily compared to man.
Okay, so that means if you have skills, okay, you know how to operate. If you know, if you understand machine, okay, which are the buttons which should be switched on, switch off. Okay, so where to insert a program, how to edit a program. Okay, so like that, there are only few inputs and few outputs for any machine. Okay, so there may be more, if there are more options in a machine, that will be complicated, but in after proper training you can understand machine. If you understand the options available in any machine or in any software, okay, somehow you can manage it well. Okay, but whereas man is a very complicated okay, so it is difficult. You cannot say I can understand my friend completely, I can understand my parents completely. It is not possible. Okay, so even understanding ourselves is also is very complicated. Okay, that's why even behavioral scientists observed that a man is very complicated. Okay, and even managing man is difficult. Okay, this model suggests that different people react differently to the same situation or react the same way to different situations. No two people are exactly alike, and the manager should tailor its attempts to influence people according to their individual needs. So that means you cannot say a principle may not be applicable for everyone. Okay, so man is not alike. Okay, if there are 10 people working under you, okay, you cannot manage 10 by following a simple principle. It is not possible. Okay, based on their individual attitudes, based on their interests, based on how they behave. Okay, so you have to decide how I can manage. Okay, you should have a different approach to manage 10. Okay, so or your subordinate. That is the suggestion given by this model. It recognizes that conflict is inevitable and sometimes is even desirable and should be faced with understanding and determination. That every organizational change involves technological and social aspects, and that it is generally the social aspect of a change which people resist. Okay, so as manager, if you want to be in management position, you must be able to face problems. Okay, if you are not ready to face problems, you are not. You cannot be hired to work at management level. Okay, so management is nothing but every day you have to face new challenges, you have to take decisions. There may be wrong decisions, there may be right decisions. Okay, at times you came to know that whether the decision taken by you is correct or incorrect, okay, only after its implementation. Okay, there are many consequences. Okay, as manager you must be able to understand that. Okay, so there are conflicts, that means there are problems while managing people. Okay, so that is the fact. Yeah, if you take any precautions, if you follow any standard operating procedure, you cannot avoid. Okay, so are new problems arising. Okay, so you should accept it. Okay, so if there is an organization, if there are people, obviously there are problems. Okay, so and my job is to solve these problems. Okay, so that you should first understand. Okay, then after that, based on your knowledge, based on the situation, you have to apply, or you have to make decision how to solve it. Okay. Next, these are related to again managing people. Okay, so these neoclassical approaches are related to managing human being, man. Okay, whereas scientific management theories are about having a standard operating procedure, having some principles. Okay, but in case of neoclassical approaches, these approaches concentrated on managing people. Okay, by considering their behavior and attitudes. Okay, next, modern approaches. So that means now which are the approaches we are following. Okay, so these are modern approaches. In modern approach, we are going to discuss about quantitative approach. Okay, what do you mean by quantitative? What is the meaning of quantitative? Quantitative. Sanjay.
So related to numbers.
Related to
Numbers.
numbers. Okay. What is the other term which is used to give almost opposite meaning to quantitative? Which is the other word used for giving opposite meaning to quantitative? Okay. What is the difference between qualitative and quantitative?
Sir, quantitative means how much quantity we required. Qualitative means the quality of the product.
Okay. Uh, Suppose consider interest of students to attend online class, whether it is qualitative or quantitative. How much interest students are having in attending online classes, whether it is a quantitative entity or it is qualitative.
Qualitative entity.
Qualitative. Why it cannot be quantifiable?
So depending upon the number of
It
students.
depends upon interest, sir.
Okay, so that means you cannot say exactly. Okay, so the interest of student for attending online class is 70%. Okay, cannot say exactly why it is 70%. If someone say, okay, you are saying your interest to attend online class is 70%, how you determine this value? Then how can you okay, so prove that the interest of a particular student for attending online class is 70%? It is not possible. Okay, so that means there are there are some parameters, there are some factors which cannot be quantifiable. So that means you cannot say in terms of numbers. Okay, in terms of percentage or in terms of thousand, hundreds, you cannot say. Okay, so they are non-quantifiable. Okay, and again, quality of a product, we say good, bad, poor, whereas we cannot say quality of product is okay, so 90%, 100%, 10%. Okay, so some of the parameters or some of the factors cannot be quantifiable exactly. At times, approximately we say, okay, 70%, 80%. If someone asks you to prove how it is 70%, how it is 80%, you cannot. Okay, so they are non-quantifiable. But this approach is called as quantitative approach. That means here, this is dealing about measurable factors. Okay, so that means it is about numbers. The focus of the quantitative approach is on decision making to provide quantitative tools and techniques for making objectively rational decisions. Okay, how decisions can be taken with the help of mathematical models? Is it possible to take decision based on mathematical models?
Yes, sir. It's possible, sir.
How is it possible?
Sir, suppose if we consider a company and its marketing is more, then the production will be more, sir.
Okay.
If
Okay,
the
now,
same, they will reduce the number of production, sir.
Okay. Okay. So if you might have noticed, if you have browsed on internet, okay, if you go through some of the products or if you have watched something on internet, immediately on Facebook or other social media platforms also, you will get some advertisements which are most of the times they are relevant to you. How Facebook can understand, okay, what are your interests? How is it possible? Okay, based on your browsing history, you are going to get advertisements on Facebook. Okay, based on your interests. Again, that is decided by algorithms. Algorithms are nothing but they are also, to some extent, they are also mathematical models. Okay, so now we are using this quantitative approach for marketing and for collecting data and making use of the data in the appropriate form. Okay, so now data is the new oil. That means if companies have data of consumers, then they will sort it out based on your interest and they will do advertisement. Okay, so this artificial intelligence is also based on mathematical models. In order to have mathematical models, okay, you should have data, enough data. If you have data, you can analyze the data and you can draw some of the conclusions. Based on that, you can develop a mathematical model and you can develop an algorithm, okay, for a particular application. That is the quantitative approach. So again, based on those algorithms, decisions will be made. So objective rationality implies an ability and willingness to follow a reasoned, unemotional, orderly and scientific approach in relating means with ends and in visualizing the totality of the decision environment. So here, there will be set of inputs for making a decision. Okay, based on the set of these inputs, decision will be taken in case of quantitative approach. Okay, suppose if there are three factors, if all three factors are present, you are going for making a decision. Out of three, if there are only two factors are present, you don't make a decision, or you make decision in another way. Okay, so like that, you can have mathematical models based on the inputs, presence and absence of certain inputs. Approach focuses on the manager as a decision maker. The keynote of this approach is precision and perfection, which is achieved by expressing relationships and facts in quantitative terms. So here everything will be in measurable values. Okay, so every factor or every input will be in terms of a value, and you are going to have a particular relationship. Okay, so you are going to add or you are going to interpret the inputs based on a particular logic. Okay, so and out of that you are able to make a decision. This approach has been widely used in planning and control activities where problems can be precisely identified and defined in quantitative terms, but its use is still uncommon in organizing, staffing, and leading the organization where the problems are more human than technical in nature. So that means if you are doing production planning, if you want to find out capacity or how to improve capacity of a plant, for that you have mathematical models. But when it comes to managing people, okay, understanding the attitudes of people, it is difficult to have this quantitative approach. Okay, that was the observation, but we are overcoming this also with the help of data related to human behavior. The data we are able to get with the help of internet and with the help of lot of applications. Now we are heading towards a situation where, based on the data related to your interest, related to what you watch on internet, okay, so what you read on internet, okay, based on what content you like on Facebook or other social platforms, data will be collected, and based on that, it is possible now. It is possible for engineers to design, come up with mathematical models even for understanding human behavior. Okay, so now it is possible. Quantitative approach includes operations research, statistical methods such as sampling theory, probability theory. Okay, operations research is a widely used quantitative approach. Okay, even you are going to study about operations research as a separate course. Okay, it is an elective. You are going to study this elective called operations research. Okay, and if you study SQC, that is statistical quality control, you are going to study about the sampling theory and probability theory. Even in mathematics also, you will study probability theory and sampling. Sampling you are going to study in quality control. Okay, so when you want to evaluate quality of a product, suppose it is produced in terms of 2000 units of a product or component per batch in a shift, that is in 8 hours. If 8,000 components are produced, then in order to evaluate quality of those 8,000 units of a component, how many should be considered for evaluation? So that is decided by sampling theory. Okay, so there are different approaches like random sampling, that is the most widely used sampling approach. Okay, random sampling. Probability theory also, it is related to if you consider, okay, what is the probability that this will happen, that will happen, that is the probability theory. Okay, what is the probability that colleges will be opened in November? So that is one. For that also there should be some inputs. Okay, what is the probability that GDP will be positive in next year? So like that, there are these are like predictions. Okay, probability in terms of percentage. Okay. Next, systems approach. Okay, so this is another approach, and this is very relevant. Okay, so this is a holistic approach. That means if there is a company, you cannot think only about what is happening inside the company. Okay, company is connected to the outside world. Okay, that was observed by the systems approach. The systems approach is an integrated approach to management problems. This is a broad, detailed, conceptual framework that can help a manager diagnose a problem, decide which tool or combination of tools will best do the job. Okay, already from last 2 or 3 classes, we are discussing about a lot of approaches, and we are discussing about limited merits and demerits of these approaches. Next, the question is which approaches need to be followed and which approaches need to be rejected. Again, it depends on depends on individual. manager. Okay, so what system approach says is, so you have to make use of all this conceptual knowledge, all these theories from scientific management theory, administrative theory, okay, then neoclassical approach, that is human relations and behavioral approach, then quantitative approach. So based on the situation, you have to apply some of these concepts. Okay, finally you have to make a decision. So ಯಾವುದು ಸರಿ ಯಾವುದು ತಪ್ಪು ಯಾವ್ದನ್ನ ಅಪ್ಲೈ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಯಾವ್ದನ್ನ ಮಾಡಬಾರ್ದು ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನ you have to decide. Okay, there is no ready-made formula for making a decision in management. At times problems are new, you don't have any precedence for or you don't have experience related to a particular problem. Okay, classical behavioral and quantitative approaches stress on one aspect of the organization at the expense of others. Okay, we discussed about limitations of these approaches. Okay, so classical approaches concentrated on okay, one approach concentrated on low level of management, another approach concentrated on top level management. In case of behavioral approach, it concentrates only on man, but management is about managing material and money also. But behavioral approaches concentrate only on human behavior. Okay, in case of quantitative approach, it concentrates only on numbers, and again it is difficult to quantify human behavior. Okay, like that every approach is having its own merits and demerits. Okay, and they focus on one or two aspects of management. There is lack of holistic understanding or overall understanding of the management requirement or overall understanding of managerial skills. Okay, classical approach emphasizes the task, that is motion study. We discussed about that. It emphasizes on okay, you have to find best way to do a job. That was the statement we discussed in classical approach. Okay, best way of doing a job. That means it concentrates on doing job, that is task, and structure of management. Okay, the behavioral approach emphasizes on people. The quantitative approach emphasizes on mathematical decision making. That means decision making based on an equation, based on a mathematical model. Concepts of system approach. A system is a set of interdependent parts. Okay, if you are a manager of an organization, or if you are a CEO of organization, okay, for an organization or for a manufacturing company, which are the parts or which are the areas on which a company has to concentrate outside an organization? Okay, ಈಗ ಒಂದು ಕಾರ್ ಮ್ಯಾನುಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಚರಿಂಗ್ ಕಂಪ್ನಿ ಇದೆ, ಅದು ಹೊರಗಡೆ ಜೊತೆ ರಿಲೇಟ್ ಆಗಿದ್ದೇ ಇಲ್ವೋ? Okay, is there any relation between a car manufacturing company and the outside world? Okay, if you have enough money, if you have enough machines, if you have enough people, if you go on producing car, then how you are able to know that whether people have enough money to buy your car? So where you are going to get this data? Is it available inside the company? ಈಗ ನೀವು ಒಂದು 1000 ಕಾರ್ ಮ್ಯಾನುಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಚರ್ ಮಾಡಿದೀರಾ, ಅದನ್ನ ತಗೊಳ್ಳೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಜನ ರೆಡಿ ಇದಾರ ಇಲ್ವಾ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಹೆಂಗ್ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗುತ್ತೆ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ? How you are able to realize whether there is demand for your product in market or not? How is it possible?
Sir, based on customer reviews, sir.
Based on
Customer reviews.
Customer review. Okay. So now you know the situation of the economy, India and throughout the world. Okay. Economists are saying that there is no demand in the market. What do you mean by that? There is no demand in the market. Now, why there is no demand in the market? What is the reason for that?
Sir, there is some defects in the model, sir.
There is some defects in the model. Okay, so even though if you want to buy car, you should have money. Okay, in order to get money, you should have a job. And even though if you have a job, you should get enough salary so that you can save some amount of that money for buying a car. Okay, now the problem is people don't have a job. If they have a job, they don't get enough salary. And even if they have job, they don't know when they are going to lose the job. Okay, there is a lot of uncertainty in the market, and people don't have enough money to buy products. That's why there is no demand in the market. Now, suppose because you have very good technological knowledge, because you have enough money, if you go for producing products, but people may not receive your products. Okay, so because they don't have money. Okay, so now you have to understand whether people are ready to buy your products. So that is outside your organization. Okay, and apart from that, you have to understand the policies of the government. Okay, so taxation policies, okay, and economic policy and stability of the government. So these are the aspects, and even law and order in the society, whether so there is peace in the society or there are conflicts. Okay, then also investors will don't do investment. Okay, so they look at a lot of aspects. So this is proposed by the systems approach. A system is a set of interdependent parts. So that means any organization is having relation with its environment. Okay, so it has relation with society, it has relation with the policies of a nation. Okay, central to the system approach is the concept of holism. So that means you cannot go for having domain specific knowledge. Okay, so you must have knowledge of almost everything related to your organization. Okay, that is the holism. So even in engineering also, now although you are mechanical engineer, okay, so having knowledge only in mechanical engineering field may not be sufficient. Okay, after your graduation, you may work in a software company, or you may work in a company which is going to produce mechatronic products or electronic components, okay, or electronic parts. So then you should have knowledge of electronics. You may have the knowledge of programming also may be required. Okay, so that is the holistic approach. That means being a mechanical engineer, having knowledge of electronics, having knowledge of programming. Okay, so that is the holistic approach. Even for an organization also, for managers of organization, they should have knowledge of outside world. That means the world outside the organization, rather than dealing separately with the various parts of one organization. The system approach tries to give the manager a way of looking at the organization as a whole. Okay, in any organization also there are different departments. Okay, what this holistic approach suggests is managers should have knowledge of what is happening in various departments in an organization. A system can be either open or closed, but most of the industries, okay, it may be manufacturing industry or it can be a service industry, a service company. Okay, so they are open. Okay, any manufacturing company cannot work as a closed system. It is not possible because in one or another way, it is having relation with the outside world. It is having relation with the society. It is having relation with the political system of a nation. okay, or it is having relation at least with policies of a nation, policies of a country. An open system is one which interacts with its environment. Okay, a closed system is one which is independent of the environment. Okay, so organization as a open system, this is the representation. So for if you consider a manufacturing industry, there are raw materials, data, information is required, energy, then there will be a process, transformation process, that is conversion of raw material into useful product. Then you are going to get the output, your products, and again your products will be released to market. Then whether consumers will accept your product or not, what is the situation in the market, okay, what is the situation, economic situation of the nation, okay, what are the government policies, all this comes under environment. Okay, based on that you are going to get the feedback. Based on that you may increase your production, or you may decrease your production, or you may increase the quality of your product, or you may go for reducing the cost of the product by compromising with its quality. Okay, these are the things the companies will follow, okay, or will do. Every system has a permeable boundary. Okay, as we discussed, every organization is having relation with outside world, that is with its environment, where there are consumers, there is government, okay, state government, central government, policies of these governments. Okay, organizations being social systems do not have clearly observable boundaries. Okay, so that means if you are a car manufacturing company, you cannot say that, okay, so this is my boundary. Okay, you cannot say that. That means there is no defined boundary for any organization. There is no visible boundary, but based on the observation made, organization has to decide. Okay, so if a company is manufacturing car, then it has to worry about who are the consumers. Okay, not everyone is going to buy car. So then it has to concentrate on a particular segment of the population. That means people who are having money. Then it depends on the type of car it is manufacturing. Okay, so the cost of car, whether it is manufacturing a luxury car or a cheaper car or a middle range car. Okay, so then it has to work on those consumers. Okay, then it has to think about which are the policies which will affect on the company. Okay, so again it may be related to emission rules. Okay, that is again now we are in BS6 stage. Okay, that is also another implementation policy by the government. As a car manufacturing company, it has to work on these things. At the same time, it should not be worried about okay, what is happening between India and China, what is happening between India and Pakistan. Okay, it may not worry about that. Again, some companies may have to worry about what is happening between India and China, because some of the components it may be procuring from China. Then the company has to worry about what is happening between India and China. Okay, what are the policies between these two countries? What is the relation between these two companies? Okay, these are the consequences. And if you are not getting any components from China, then you are not no need to worry about the relation between India and China. Okay, so you have to even though you don't have observable, visible boundary, based on the impact of what is happening in environment, which are the factors that will have an impact on your organization. So you have to choose. So ನಾವು ಹೊರಗಡೆ ಯಾವ ಇಶ್ಯೂ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಕಾನ್ಸಂಟ್ರೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನ a company or managers of the company have to identify. Generally, the activities necessary for the transformation process define the boundaries. The concept of boundary is useful in several ways. It helps a system in determining where it ends and the other system begins. So that means ಯಾವ್ಯಾವ ಇಶ್ಯೂ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಕಾನ್ಸಂಟ್ರೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಯಾವ್ದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಕಾನ್ಸಂಟ್ರೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಬಾರ್ದು ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನ ಸೊ ಕಂಪ್ನಿ has to determine. So for determining, this approach will help. It divides those elements that are a part of a system from those that are a part of its environment. Okay, that is policies of the government, economic condition of the nation, okay, and economic status of consumers. It enables a system to protect its transformation process from the notions of its environment. Okay, again, most of the companies try to avoid adverse effects of what is happening outside the organization. Okay, that's why most of the corporate companies, they don't directly get involved in politics. Okay, they don't criticize the government policies. Often they hesitate to criticize on government policies. That means they try to avoid unnecessary conflicts with the government. Okay, so that is also another thing as a manager of a company you should understand. Unnecessarily you should not engage in politics, or unnecessarily you should not engage in controversies when you are managing an organization. Okay, so contribution of system approach. In the systems approach, a problem is studied both at the level of subsystem and the total system. That means at the organization level and at the entire, that means considering both organization and its environment, that is the total system. This approach follows a logical process of deductive inductive reasoning. That means if data or inputs required to make a decision is insufficient, then in systems approach you try to collect more information. Then after collecting that information, you are going to make a decision. That is inductive. You are adding further information or further options. Deductive means you are eliminating not required or unnecessary things which are not necessary to make effective decision. At times you choose deductive reasoning. That means you are going to eliminate the available options in case of deductive reasoning. In case of inductive reasoning, you are going to add few more options. The reasoning process always go through several stages of development, starting with general objectives and proceeding to plan, then back to redefining objectives and making more detailed plans, then back again and so forth. Again, it depends on making decision based on the data. At times, not sufficient data will be available while making a decision. Now you can realize decision making in times of corona pandemic. Okay, most of the governments earlier stages, they go for lockdowns. Okay, now when more data is available, now they don't go for lockdown. They know, they have realized, okay, by lockdown we cannot manage the problem, or even if you go for lockdown also, corona will not go anywhere. Okay, so it will not go without any vaccination. Okay, so that governments also realize now. That means during March they don't have enough data to make a decision whether to go for lockdown or not. In uncertainty, they choose to go for lockdown. But now, even though we have cases in lakhs, government is not deciding to go for lockdown because now it has better understanding of what is happening. Okay, so because of corona. Application of this approach to business organization results in the requirements that executives, in addition to having skills in their own functional areas, should have enough knowledge of other areas also. They should be generalists. Okay, from the initial class also we are discussing, if you want to become an entrepreneur, if you want to be at management level, okay, having knowledge of a particular domain may not be sufficient. You should have proper understanding of what is happening around you. Okay, what is happening in the society, what is happening around the world. you should have knowledge. Okay, so that is also suggested by the system approach. Okay, as a manager, if you have a domain specific knowledge, that is not enough to make decisions. There are some writers who contend that there is nothing new in this approach. Even for this approach, there was criticism. Okay, so some writers say there is nothing new in this approach. Okay, so they say that this approach simply combines the views of the classicists, that means classical approach, and neoclassicists, that means neoclassical approach, which is like pouring old wine into new bottles. Next, this is the last approach, contingency approach. Okay, you can answer for your poll. I have created a poll. Okay, you can answer. I will take 1 minute break, and in 2 or 3 minutes, I will complete this topic. Okay, so you can answer for your poll. I think it is visible now. Okay, so this is the last approach, contingency approach, and in actual sense, as managers, okay, in future, if you become manager of a company, okay, or even in day-to-day life, you are managing a lot of things, okay, you can follow this contingency approach. It is nothing but already we have studied about many approaches. Okay, again, it is about deciding which approach is suitable for a particular situation. Okay, ಆ ಸಿಚುವೇಶನ್ಗೆ ಯಾವ ಅಪ್ರೋಚ್ ಸರಿ, ಆ ಸಿಚುವೇಶನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವ್ದನ್ನ ಇಂಪ್ಲಿಮೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಡಿಸೈಡ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ದಿ ನಥಿಂಗ್ ಬಟ್ ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ದಿ ಕಂಟಿಂಜೆನ್ಸಿ ಅಪ್ರೋಚ್. Okay, the contingency approach suggests that the task of managers is to try to identify which technique will, in a particular situation, best contribute to the attainment of management goals. Therefore, managers have to develop a sort of situational sensitivity and practical selectivity. That means you must be able to respond properly for a particular situation. Okay, first you must be able to understand what is happening. Then you have to make a decision according to your understanding of the situation. Okay, for this there is no ready formula. Okay, it is a managerial skill based on your experience, based on your knowledge, based on your capability. You have to execute these things. Contingency views are applicable in designing organizational structure, in deciding the degree of decentralization, in planning information decision systems, in motivational and leadership approaches, in establishing communication and control systems, in resolving conflicts and managing change, in employee development and training programs, and in several other areas of organization and management. Okay, so it is related to entire. If you are a manager, okay, you have to follow this. Apply these approaches based on the situation, based on the requirement. Okay, so this is a sample question. Okay, so in internals, since if there are no offline classes, okay, so then internal also will be conducted online, and if it is online, questions will be like it will be like open book exam. Okay, so this is one sample question. Okay, I will share this with you with this study material. So for this type of questions, you cannot write two cannot write a same answer. Okay, every individual has to write answer on his own. Ibru same answer ಬರೆಯೋದು ಸಾಧ್ಯನೇ ಇಲ್ದಿರ ಅಂತ ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್ ಇದು, ಗೊತ್ತಾಯ್ತಾ? So if you copy, you will get 0 marks. So you have to think and you have to write on your own, then only you are able to get marks in internals. Okay, it is not about remember something and reproducing it. ಇವಾಗ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಹತ್ರನೇ ಎಲ್ಲ ಮೆಟೀರಿಯಲ್ ಇರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ನೀವು ನೆನ್ಪಿಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದು ಅಗತ್ಯ ಇಲ್ಲ. ವಾಟ್ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಡೂ ಇಸ್ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಅಪ್ಲೈ, okay, to the given situation. This is one such example. Okay, so this time the internal evaluation procedure has changed. Okay, this is the scheme of evaluation for this course. Okay, earlier we were conducting CAE for 20 marks. 3 CAEs were conducted. Out of 3, 2 will be chosen. 2 were chosen. Okay, but now from this semester onwards, 4 CAE will be conducted. Okay, after completion of every module, CAE will be conducted. Okay, first CAE based on first module, second CAE, second module, CAE 3 based on module 3, CAE 4 based on module 4, and there will be activity for 10 marks. Okay, this is the scheme which we are going to follow. Okay, so ನಿಮಗೆ ಏನು ಚಾಯ್ಸಸ್ ಇಲ್ಲ ಇವಾಗ ಬೆಸ್ಟ್ ಅಂತ after every module you have to write a CAE for 10 marks and you have to score. You don't have choices. You have to attend all CAEs, okay, for 10 marks, not for 20 marks. This is the new scheme. Okay, if you have any doubts regarding this, you can ask. Any doubt idea?
Sir, what is that open-ended question, sir?
Open-ended means descriptive type. It is not objective type. Multiple choice questions alla. Descriptive questions. ಸೊ ಮಲ್ಟಿಪಲ್ ಚಾಯ್ಸಿಗೆ ನಾವು ಕ್ಲೋಸ್ಡ್ ಎಂಡ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಿಮಗೆ 4 ಆಪ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಆ 4ರಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವ್ದಾದ್ರು ಒಂದು ಚೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬೇಕು. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಕ್ಲೋಸ್. ಓಪನ್ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ think on your own, you can write on your own. There is no limit for analyzing a problem. For your answer also there is no limit. Okay, so that is the open end. Generally descriptive ಅಂದ್ರೆ open end question. So ಇಲ್ಲಿ internals ಎಲ್ಲ open end. Okay, so at last there will be an activity based on what is mentioned in the syllabus, and since I am also conducting bonus activities. If you have bonus points, okay, if you score less in CAE or activity, this bonus points can be converted into marks. Okay, and if you don't have enough attendance, then you have to use this bonus points to okay, so for attendance instead of increasing marks, you may have to use this bonus point to get attendance. Okay. So this completes management first portion of module 1, that is management portion of module 1 has been completed. In next class I will start